Let's examine retaining power control through abuse. We in the indigenous community are aware of this, but other people are hilarious and unaware of this fact. In some areas and some counties all over in America, it seems as if they operate without impunity, no consequences of their actions. People's basic civil rights are violated, families are ripped apart, and some of the most harsh and disgusting practices of injustice in a corrupt family court system are exercised to the fullest. See, unfortunately, the most cooperative and dim-witted families that are famous are allowed to reach fame and fortune, or rather wait to see wealth. And why is this? Because they don't make any waves. They don't question everything around them. So they don't think for themselves. They'll basically go along with the program and do as they are told. The trade-off is they get to be rich, famous, or wealthy, to get to live in the upper Absaloms of society. And they make their mistakes. They do stupid things. They have their legal battles, but in the long run, they get to keep their wealth. They get to keep their prestige. But then you have other families that think for themselves, highly talented, highly creative, highly motivated. These families are a bigger threat to the U.S. government. So what do? They create a problem where there is none. Sullivan County, New York, has made an example of this over and over again. When Brian, the owner, this YouTube channel was 4 years old, Child Protective Services picked them up and put them in a car. He was the very first of his family to be picked up. His other brothers thought their father was picking them up, but then it was painfully clear as what was going on. Unfortunately, Brian's oldest brother showed up at the front door of their house to see a note on the door from Child Protective Services and had to run into a neighbor's house. The local cop showed up and threatened to shoot their family dog if he didn't come out, and pulled out your gun and appointed the dog before someone to come out of the neighbor's house and comply with them. Just believe a great damage and lasting impression on Brian's oldest brother. This also left the last impression on Brian's second-oldest brother. Skip ahead a few years. They're all preteens and teenagers now. Find those brother now basically uses his muscle and his very muscles and his hot temper to keep his brothers in line. The system is success web broke him and turned him into a monsters. So what is he doing? He takes his anger out on his other brothers, make sure that they don't succeed. And they basically do whatever den career jobs if they're stuck doing, because it's exactly as she would have it then. The brother closest to Brian's age's aim. Thing doesn't mean a true potential. It doesn't exceed past the means of success that he could. Life passes him by, and the system success be broken. So what happens? The system basically looked the other way, mistreated them when they were small children, and then as adults they remain broken, controlled, and oppressed by each other, because they succeeded in the system break them. So what you have here, retaining power over the people to abuse by creating a problem where there is none. This is why some families are allowed to succeed and some are not, unfortunately. Brian's family has been marked for failure, but by the U.S. government. It is why every time they would be tempted to make something of themselves, sort of in their way into an avenue of career choice to where they would be happy to rise above their status, they're stopped dead in their tracks. 7 more problems are created. Some crazy, unfortunately, cases like this happen every day. You cannot retain control over poor people if they're allowed to succeed and become wealthy. How on earth can you sit there and have people to behave like mindless drones and break their backs working in your factories while you get rich at their expense? How on earth are you supposed to be? Are you going to tell them your liquor and your tobacco? If you don't create enough problems and keep them miserable and oppressed, that they have to partake in your mood off and substances to drown out how miserable they truly are. Unfortunately, this is a harsh fact, but this is how they retain power through abuse.